Hello, grade 9. Let's start with our history chapter 2, Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about Russian Revolution and how socialism raised in Europe. In first chapter, we have learned about French Revolution. The same way, in this chapter also, we are going to learn about socialism, revolution, the things which happened during that time, how the workers, poor people, women, how they went for strike, what was their struggles, all these things we are going to learn in this lesson. Here in this slide you can see I have mentioned three group of peoples, liberals, radicals and conservatives. So in this chapter we are also going to learn about these three groups of people. What was socialism according to them? Okay, so let's begin with our chapter. What is socialism? Socialism means common ownership. Now, what is common ownership? Common ownership means when everybody is having the right to participate in decisions on how the global resources will be used. That is known as common ownership. The ownership is not in only some hands of some group of people or not only in the hand of the monarchs. Okay, it should be with the people. It should be in the hands of the people to decide that how the global resources should be used. So what is socialism? Socialism means everybody having the right to participate in decisions on how global resources will be used. Okay, so that is the meaning of socialism. Now, what is the history of socialism? It's not that socialism just emerged one day in the minds of people in Europe. It's not like that. Socialism was there in the minds of people, but what were the features or what were the reasons why that socialism raised in them? That we are going to learn. It is having the origin from the French Revolution in 1789. And what changes it has brought during the Industrial Revolution, how industries were developed, how people started getting work, all those things in that chapter also socialism was there. So the French Revolution which took place, it opened up the possibility of creating a dramatic change in the way how the society was early structured. Earlier, only monarchs had all the powers, and they had, three estates. They have divided the people into three estates, and how only the two estate people enjoyed all the rights, and the third estate people had to, worry about all things, tax and custom duty, income tax, everything. So that was the way how it was structured earlier. But this socialism in French Revolution had brought a lot of dramatic change. So now here we are going to learn about socialism in Europe. And what were the factors which lead to socialism in Europe? The two main factors which led socialism in Europe was inequality and concentration of power. So inequality, you can know what is the meaning of inequality. Not looking into the group of people equally. If there are 10 people, we should be equal towards those 10. It should not be that we are only partial with one person or two person. Everyone in that group may be not equally talented or will not be having the same characteristics. Right. But we as a person who is sitting in power should see to it that we are giving equal importance to all the 10 or all the 20 or all the 100 people under us. If that is not there, then there can be a civil war happening inside that group. So here, this was the same reason which happened here. There was inequality and the concentration of power was only in the hands of some people. And they ruled that according to their wish. So the socialists were mostly, they were against the private property. What they considered as the root cause of all the problems were that the owners or the rich people, they used the property for their own gain. They were not helping the poor people. They were not using it for the public welfare. And the conditions of the poor workers, that did not improve as the profit was accumulated by the private capitalists. That means if the workers are working in the industries, whatever work they are doing, according to that only the production is happening. The production is sold in the market, and when the profit comes to the capitalist, when to the owner, they don't give a part of the profit, or they don't increase the wages of the workers. So the workers where they were, they are still at that point of place. Right. When the profit is high, the owner of that company or that industry, they should see to it that the workers are also benefited by that. Then only the workers will have a feeling of what we say, oneness, or they will have a feeling of sincerity towards the industry. But here the owners, the rich people, they didn't do that. Whatever profit they were getting, that everything they were using for their personal gain, not for the public welfare. So the poor workers always had the problem. Karl Marx, he believed that the workers had to construct a radical socialist society. Karl Marx was a socialist person. He wanted the upgradation of the workers. So he wanted the workers to construct a radical socialist society for unity, and where all property was socially controlled. He wanted the people to come out with the socialism in them and try to establish or try to upgrade themselves by unity, by creating a society, and all the properties which were socially controlled. By 1870s, the socialist ideas, all the socialist ideas of the workers and the radical societies and all, that spread throughout the Europe. And then the socialists, they formed an international body. They formed an international society and named as the Second International. So now here workers, they started forming association for better living and working conditions. That means they started making unions and association. If for an example, in an industry, if there are 100 people, there will be a group of 20 to 25 people who are making this association, and they will see to it that the remaining people and they themselves are also having a better standard of living, and they are given a proper working condition, a proper wages, a proper uniform. Everything should be given to them in a better way when they are working for an industry to gain the profit for the capitalists. So that was what was in the minds of the workers who started the association, that they will work for the workers' betterment. And if the capitalist people or if the owners are not going to listen to their demands, then they will go for a strike. And if they will go for the strike, the production will stop there. And if the production will stop, the company or the industry will come into loss. So that was in the mind of the people who started forming association. And they also demanded rights to vote and equality. As we know that the voting system, how was the voting system? It was that only the property men, only the rich people were allowed to vote. So they asked that we also want the right to vote, we also want equality, because we are also the citizen of this country. So that was the demands which was kept forward by the workers and the poor people. Now here, not everyone in Europe wanted complete transformation of society. So here there were some people who didn't match with the demands of workers. They were mainly divided as conservatives, liberals, and radicals. These were the three groups of people who were not agreeing with the workers for complete transformation of the society. Now, what is the meaning of this group of words? Who are liberals? Liberals are those who wanted a nation that could tolerate all religion as people, and they approached for elected parliamentary government subject to laws and not rulers. But they felt only men of property have the rights to vote. So according to liberals, they wanted a nation which will be secular and where they could tolerate all religion as people. And the other thing is, they didn't want rulers, they didn't want kings, they didn't want emperors. They want a proper government, which is the elected representatives or elected parliamentary government, which will be subject to laws, which will be considering all the laws, all the rules and regulations of the nation. They will be looking towards the betterment of the people. They don't want any monarchs. They want a proper government, because they know that men of property, that means the propertied men, the rich men, they had the rights to vote. So that also the liberals didn't want. So this was the mindset of the liberals, that it should be a secular nation and monarchs should not be there. There should be a proper government or a proper elected parliamentary people, representatives who will be looking forward towards the nation. Now, who were radicals? Radicals, they disliked the concentration of property in the hands of few. The radicals were those people who wanted a government based on the majority of the population. They opposed the privileges of great landowners and wealthy factory owners. They also opposed the privileges, because privileges were given according to the birth, according to the money. As we know about the three estates were there were also privileges given to them. They were exempted by all the taxes. That was according to their privileges. So these radicals also, they were also opposing the privileges of the great landlords and the wealthy factory owners. And they also disliked the concentration of property in the hands of few. They said when there are lots of land, farms and all, it should be given to the poor peasants and farmers to work. They should not be taking any rent or tax from them, because farmers and peasants are those people who are producing for the whole nation. Then why should they pay rent for the farm and fields and all? So the concentration of property in the hands of few was disliked by the radicals, and they wanted a government based on the majority of the population, not everyone, which was the majority. Those majority of the population should be, from there should be the government be made. Now, who were conservatives? Conservatives were those who felt that changes should be brought, but slowly, but at the same time, the past should also be respected. That means the kings, the emperors, and the rulers should not be thrown out from their crowns. They should be given the crown, they should be given the throne, they should be allowed to rule, they should be preserved, and at the same time, changes should also be made, but very slowly and gradually according to the emperor or the rulers. That was there in the mind of conservatives. So you understood the three group of people: the liberals, those who wanted a nation which tolerated all religion as people, and they want a proper government to subject the laws, not the rulers. And they felt that the men of property who is given the rights of vote, that should not be there. Right of vote should be given to everyone. Then were the radicals. They opposed the privileges what were given to the wealthy people. They disliked the concentration of property in the hands of few. They wanted that the farmers and the poor peasants should also be given the farm on free of cost. They should not be taken, people should not collect rent from them. And the government should be made on the basis of majority of the population available in the nation. And conservatives were those who felt that changes should be brought, but very slowly and gradually. The rulers, the emperors and the kings should not be thrown away from their throne, or they should not be kept aside by the people. They should be respected, and they will be the people who will be bringing the changes. So these were the three main groups of people who were present in Europe. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.